dear children, this video is for class 7 and the subject is science. We have begun with the chapter acid, bases and salts. So today we are continuing with the same. In the previous class we have discussed about acids and bases. So acids, they are sour in taste, turns blue litmus paper red, no effect on red litmus paper, no effect on turmeric paper, turns China rose solution to dark pink. And base is bitter in taste, no effect on blue litmus paper, turns red litmus paper to blue, turns turmeric paper to red, turns China rose solution to green. And when we are talking about these, how do we test them? We discussed that we use indicators to test the acids, bases or whether the substance is neutral. So we use the indicators such as litmus paper, turmeric paste, China rose solution or even phenolphthalein. Then today's topic and the question is, what would happen if an acid and a base is mixed? Is there going to be any reaction? So let us know about this by watching this simple activity about acids and bases.
Here, let us perform an activity to know about neutralization reaction. Click each tab to know more. Take a test tube, clean it using a clean dropper. Pour 10 drops of hydrochloric acid carefully in the test tube. Now, add 2 drops of phenolphthalein indicator solution. Observe the color changes. Now, add sodium hydroxide solution drop by drop to the test tube. Shake it well after adding each drop. Observe the change in the color of the solution. Keep adding the sodium hydroxide drop by drop until the color begins to turn pink. Once again, add drop by drop of hydrochloric acid to the solution mixture until the solution in the test tube becomes colorless. In this activity, we observe that there is no change in the color of hydrochloric acid while adding phenolphthalein solution. The color of the solution in the test tube becomes pink by adding a drop of sodium hydroxide solution. The pink color of the mixture solution becomes colorless by adding a few drops of hydrochloric acid. Finally, we learned that if we add excess base, that is sodium hydroxide, to acidic solution, that is hydrochloric acid, it converts to base. Similarly, we can change base into acid. We also learned that the effect of base is nullified by an acid. When acids and bases are mixed in definite proportions, they give a neutral solution. The reaction of an acid with a base produces salt and water.
So, in this activity, when we do it in lab, so after the experiment, if you touch the test tube immediately after neutralization, what could you observe is that in neutralization reaction, heat is always produced or evolved. So the test tube seems to be hot. So we should be very careful while performing this activity in the lab. So through this activity, we have come to know that the reaction between acid and base to produce salt and water is called as neutralization. And the equation of this reaction is represented as acid plus base reacts and produces salt and water. In neutralization reaction, a new substance is formed called salt. So after the reaction of an acid and a base, there is a new substance that is formed, and that is salt. Salt, it would be? It may be acidic, basic or neutral in nature. So there is one example to make this concept more clear, that is hydrochloric acid plus sodium hydroxide reacts and produces sodium chloride plus water. So the chemical names are HCl plus NaOH gives and reacts to give, that is NaCl, that is sodium chloride plus water. So in this process of neutralization, heat is always produced or evolved, as I reminded you after the video. The evolved heat rises the temperature of reaction mixture. So we need to be careful, but it is one of the best way to identify whether the reaction has taken place between the acids and bases. So salts are prepared by the neutralization reactions of acids and bases. It either may be acid plus base or base plus acid. So whatever reaction happens, so the reaction which produces the products is salt and water. So what are the properties of the salts now? So most salts are solids with high melting and boiling point. Most salts are soluble in water. Salts that dissolve in water make the solution a good conductor of electricity. So relating to these properties, you will be learning some experiments in your higher classes too. So some important salts which you can get through these reactions are sodium chloride, sodium carbonate, sodium bicarbonate, copper sulfate, potassium nitrate, potassium alum, silver nitrate. So where you have seen them? Absolutely, you all are right. You have seen all these chemicals in our chemistry lab. So these all are the salts. So where are these used in our regular life? That is sodium chloride as a common salt which is used in food, pickles and glazing, etc. And sodium carbonate is washing soda which is used to wash clothes, refined petroleum and manufacture of detergents, papers, glass, etc. Sodium bicarbonate, baking soda. So all might have been very much familiar with this during the lockdown because many were interested in preparing cakes, and to prepare that you need baking soda. Isn't it interesting? Yes, in bakery products like bread and cakes, sodium carbonate is being used as an antacid in fire extinguishers. So here also they are going to use baking soda. And baking soda is one which is acting as one of the main key product in preparing bakery products, we can say. Then other salts such as copper sulfate is used in manufacture of medicines, potassium nitrate in glass and refrigeration industries, potassium alum in purification of water, and silver nitrate in developing films, that is the film strips. So these all salts are being used for one or the other purpose in our daily life, but by giving some common names. So based on this neutralization concept, what is a neutral number? So the acidity or basic strength of substances can be measured using a special scale called the pH scale. pH means the power of hydrogen or potential of hydrogen is nothing but the pH. So through this pH scale, we can just number the range of acids, base and neutral solutions. That is, neutral, the number is 7, and below 7 are all to be acids and above 7 are all to be the bases. So based on the pH scale, we are also able to know the range of how much acidic these substances are, or basic these are, or neutral. So water is the one which is having the pH level 7. So it is a neutral. Water is neutral. And what with ours? What is in our body? So we know that in the digestion process, HCl, that is hydrochloric acid, is released. Is there any base which is making it to be neutral? That is, we don't have more of the reactions in our body and falling sick. Yeah? Yes, so the pH level is also maintained in our body, and that pH level should be between 7 to 8. The range should be between 7 to 8. Then the body is in a neutral condition. If at all anything either is acidic or the basic medium increases in the body, we may come across some of the diseases. So we should maintain the level by having a control in our food too. So based on that is acids, bases and salts, how the salts, that is the neutralization in everyday life is being taken place. Let us know. That is indigestion. So our stomach contains hydrochloric acid. It helps us to digest food. But too much acid in the stomach causes indigestion. To relieve indigestion, we take an antacid like milk of magnesia. The milk of magnesia contains magnesium hydroxide. So this neutralizes the effect of acids in us. So sometimes indigestion is painful. To relieve indigestion, we should take an antacid, so that it neutralizes the effect of excessive acid in the body. Next, ant sting, which I had told during the introduction part. That is, the sting of ants contain formic acid. When ant bite, it releases acid into our skin. This causes itching and irritation. This effect can be neutralized by rubbing moist baking soda, that is sodium hydrogen carbonate. This can also be neutralized by calamine solution, which contains zinc carbonate. So taking them and rubbing them or applying them to our skin, we can reduce the itching and irritation, because that acid, when this base is being applied, what happens? It gets neutralized. So you can stay away from this pain by using this baking soda or the calamine solution. Then, is there anything which the soil, is these acids and bases playing a role there? Yes, of course. So, much use of chemical fertilizers make the soil acidic. Plants did not grow in much acidic and much basic soil. So, when soil is too acidic, it can be treated by bases like quicklime, that is calcium oxide, and slaked lime, that is calcium hydroxide. If the soil is basic, then organic matter is added in order to make it neutralized so that plants can grow. So, both should be in a equal way, that is acids and base. So, if it is neutral, then only the soil can grow. The soil will be good for having a good fertility and the crops can grow well. And what is this? So you can see there is a factory and the waste water is coming out of the factory. So the waste of many factories contain acids. If they are allowed to flow into the water bodies, the acids will kill the aquatic animals, isn't it? So the factory wastes are therefore neutralized by adding some of the basic substances to them. So when this water goes to the water bodies, what happens? The aquatic animals will be not harmed. So many of the factories will not follow it, but the few people who are really have the concern about the aquatic animals and the nature mainly do it. But we should focus, and the government also should focus by telling they have to permit the factories, the industries to run only when they take the waste and they will make it into neutral and then send it to the water bodies. So this one rule should be very much specified and strictly been given to the owners of the factories and industries so that it will not harm the water bodies and the aquatic animals too. So, what all we discussed in this chapter that is so interesting, that is acids are sour in taste, generally bases are bitter in taste and soapy to touch. Acid turns blue litmus red, bases turn red litmus blue. Substances which are neither acidic or basic are called neutral. Solutions of substances that show different color in acidic, basic and neutral solutions are called indicators. An acid and a base neutralize each other and form a salt. A salt may be acidic, basic or neutral in nature. And also we learnt about neutralization in everyday life. So with this I am going to end this chapter, but you need to do a homework, that is you need to find answers for the questions in the exercise and try to solve the exercise part. Later I will be sending the worksheet and you need to write the same in your classworks and complete it. And also you should study this lesson. So with this I am going to end the class. Thank you children. Have a good day.